Kavita Krishnan, well-known activist, National Secretary of the All India Progressive Women's Association and Politburo member of the CPIML. Thank you very much, Kavita Krishnan. Wasbir Hussain, consulting editor of Times Now. Gaurav Gogoi is member of Parliament of the Congress Party. Shiladitya Dev of the Assam BJP. And Himanta Biswa Sarma, who is the former Health and Education Minister, rebelled against Tarun Gogoi, still in the Congress Party. Thank you very much. Now, Wasbir, these, the Gaurav Gogoi was trying to defend himself some time back, or rather preach, when he said you have to understand the situation on the ground, the context, etc. Do you think Gaurav Gogoi should himself apologize for that kind of blasé, indifferent answer that he gave when we gave those pictures there? Do you think he should correct himself on air for what he said there, Wasbir?
Absolutely, Arnab. Gaurav Gogoi is a fine young man and he is a young MP, and therefore he must apologize as the new MP from that area. In fact, he has also visited and faced public ire, and his father too, the Chief Minister, Mr. Tarun Gogoi, faced an ire of the people yesterday. But the fact remains that the visuals which we have aired and the News Live channel has aired in Guwahati are horrific visuals of the Assam policemen. Some of them were clearly Assam policemen aiming directly at the people and opening fire, and they later claimed that they were using rubber bullets. But let me tell you, Arnab, rubber bullets are fired from something called the pump action guns and not from SLRs and AK-47s, which are clearly visible in the footage. So I have spoken to senior Assam police officers. They have said that they have to examine the footage, but in the meantime they have admitted police excesses, because by now they have already suspended one Assam police constable by the name of Deepak Gogoi. The Assam police has immediately suspended that man who was responsible for beating the biker, and therefore to say that these were central forces were indulging in excesses and not the Assam police is also not correct. And therefore the fact that all the 21 people who have injured do not have bullet wounds and they were just rubber bullets fired is extremely contestable, is something highly contested. So this is the situation. Visuals, horrific visuals of clear cases of Assam police excesses conducted on the roads in full public view, in full view of television cameras or not. This is something which Assam has not seen in a very long
India
time.
would not want to see this. No, India would not want to see this.
Absolutely.
And I want to play the pictures full frame before I go to Gaurav Gogoi, who I hope revisits his own opposition. Gaurav Gogoi, you are the son of the Chief Minister and you are a member of Parliament. Therefore, you are in a privileged situation. How would you feel, Mr. Gogoi, if you were facing a man with an AK-47 in his hand or a self-loading rifle? If someone with an AK-47 in his hand and a self-loading rifle were to be running towards you, Mr. Gogoi, and his boss were to be telling him to aim the rifle at you and tell him to shoot with an aim to kill you, Mr. Gogoi, what would you feel then?
Arnab, many people in Assam have faced the end of an AK-47, and often that has been when the gun has been held by a terrorist or by an alpha
Mr. Gogoi, I don't want your prose or your poetry today. I just want you to answer my question. How would you feel if an AK-47 was pointed at you and the superintendent there were to be telling his constable to point that AK-47 directly at you, Mr. Gogoi, and you were standing in the line of fire of an AK-47, one second, or a self-loading rifle, and that man like a maniac were to be coming towards you and his superintendent were to be saying, shoot him down. Just put yourself in that situation, Mr. Gogoi. Please tell me, how would you feel then? Do not run away from that question. Don't lecture me. Yes.
Arnab, I don't intend to run away from any of your questions, if I may just be allowed to speak. Before your Times Now interview, I just spoke to the Superintendent of Police of Golaghat District. Golaghat District falls under my Lok Sabha constituency. I asked him how many people are injured. The visuals seem to be so frightening. They seem to be shocking. People seem to be scared. How many people are injured in the hospital? The official reply is that there are 21 people injured, 0 from a gunshot wound. Then I said that, listen, these visuals are scary. People seem, the police forces are holding guns and lathi sticks. How many people have died from today's violence? The official reply was 1 person.
You shock me, Mr. Gogoi. You actually, Mr. Gogoi, I'll let Kavita Krishnan come in at this point.
Why was the action today taken?
No, 1 second. Gaurav Gogoi, stop at that point. You shock me.
The people
You shock me, Mr. Gogoi. I have never heard such a reply on national television. And I am going to open up the phone lines now. So you lose a little bit of that dynastic arrogance, Mr. Gogoi. And I want to ask Kavita Krishnan. Kavita Krishnan, Gaurav Gogoi says, well, nobody died. So why should you make a big deal over it? Kavita Krishnan, your response.
There are several points to be made here. The first is that this absolutely unconscionable lathi charge as well as police firing on unarmed protesters has been done by the police and the CRPF in Assam. I hold the Tarun Gogoi government, the Congress government of Assam, firmly in the dock. But since CRPF is also involved, certainly the Home Ministry, the central government also have equally to answer. And I think that, the context in which this is happening, let me also, tell Mr. Gogoi here that, what is the context on the ground? We are also aware of that. The context on the ground is that why were these people protesting? Because they have been left unprotected in the border areas of Assam at the mercy of a situation where they have been evicted, they have been brutally subjected to brutal massacres, they are left completely homeless, and they are in relief camps there. They are angry and upset that the state government and the central government have been completely not interested in how to protect these people. The Assam government has to answer this. And this is not, let me also tell you that this is not the first time that this has happened on the Assam border. On January 29th, 12 people were killed in Bihali district on the border with Arunachal Pradesh in a similar border conflict situation. And even at that time, this issue was raised that why is it that the Assam government can't take the responsibility for protecting people in the border areas where the borders are disputed, where land is disputed,
well,
where conflicts are possible. And now you're adding salt to the wounds by firing on the people for protesting in an unarmed way. And not just the protesters.
Shiladitya Dev and Himanta Biswa Sarma. Himanta, Gaurav Gogoi says nobody died. So why are you making a big deal of it? Till recently you were in the Tarun Gogoi government. Your views, please. And Shiladitya, I'll come to you after that.
No, I have been taught by Tarun Gogoi how to handle this kind of situation, and whenever we see some excess on the part of police forces, we have been taught to express regret. I think this is a situation where you have to express your regret. You have to talk to the protesters tomorrow. You have to calm down the situation, because Assam doesn't deserve this.
Yeah, sure they don't. But to his argument that nobody died, Mr. Biswa Sarma, he says nobody died.
No,
he says I've spoken to the police authorities and nobody died. He doesn't talk about the fact that these were shoot at sight orders which were clearly being given. We have the pictures. He seems to discount that.
The answer was in reply to
Arnab, we have.
Go ahead, Mr. Sarma.
No. Yeah, Arnab, we have seen the visual. It is not that we will react only when some people will die. I think it is better to react before some people die. So it is a time where we should express regret to the people of Assam. We'll work together and we'll calm down the protest by tomorrow or day after. I am sure CM is working on that.
It's not about calming down the protest. It horrifies me first the act and then Gaurav Gogoi your reaction. It just completely horrifies me that, you can actually be talking this language. Maybe you don't know the rules and the rules of procedure which are violated. I can read them out to you if you want. Shiladitya Dev, your response to what Gaurav Gogoi has said here and to this incident. By the way, the phone lines are going to be opened up right now. This horrifying incident happens in Golaghat in Assam, where shoot-at-sight orders appear to have been given. AK-47s and self-loading rifles used to shoot randomly at people. The Chief Minister's son says, don't worry, nobody died. Shiladitya Dev, your reaction.
Arnab, there is total lawlessness in Assam. We absolutely do not have a government in Assam. And you must be knowing that Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi, though he is in the third term, for the last 3 years, we know that there has been a lot of dissidence activities, and absolutely there is no commander in the government. Therefore, the departments are lying vacant.
No, Mr. Dev, come to the point. I don't want to hear the long story of, I don't have time here for the long story of how the Assam government is being run.
Nobody from BJP is also visiting as of now.
You forget your politics, Mr. Sarma. Zarir, don't make this channel a forum for your internal politics. I am asking you once again, and if any one person can answer me today, I have several questions. One, what is the trigger?
Assam Nagaland border is completely under the neutral forces of CRPF. So I think somebody from central government must visit Assam.
That is not correct.
No, Arnab.
Yes, Zarir.
Let me tell you that the Assam-Nagaland border has been disputed for decades now. It is under the neutral force. But ultimately the Assam government cannot disown its responsibility for the citizens.
The government has visited Assam.
Gaurav, please don't.
That is a point that cannot be accepted or not. That is something which is just passing the buck. We are not interested in the government passing the buck.
To the protest today has been under the jurisdiction of the Central Police Reserve
Mr. Gogoi, I don't like people who don't come to the point. Mr. Gogoi, just a minute. I am not discussing the fine nuances of the border problem between Assam and Nagaland. I am not interested in that. You want to use it as a diversionary tactic? Use it on other media. My question is simple. What was the trigger? One second. There is no trigger. Mr. Gogoi, wake up. You are new in politics. And you should learn some humility. Mr. Gogoi, one second, Shiladitya Dev.
Arnab, what is happening today, we must express regret. There is no
Arnab, can I get in here for a minute? I'd like to respond to Mr. Sharma.
This is very surprising. Why is he keeping quiet?
No, it's Mr. Dev, one second. Kavita, just a minute, please. I am not interested in two issues tonight. One is in your internal political fight in Assam. You can keep fighting it. That's not my issue right now. Secondly, I am not interested in understanding about or getting a lecture from anyone on the nuances of the Assam-Nagaland problem. I am asking tonight, how can you open fire on unarmed civilians? Simple. They are not posing any threat to either the law and order situation or the safety of the police officers themselves. If there is no immediate threat, 1 minute.
Specifically?
1 minute, Gaurav. If there is no immediate threat, what warrants the shootout?
Sure. Now may I answer you?
Yes.
You don't want to talk about the past? That's fine. We'll talk about what happened today. For the past 6 days, people have been blocking an important highway connecting Assam with Nagaland and Meghalaya, protesting about the issue which you don't want to talk about.
So you want to shoot at them? No, 1 minute. So you want to shoot at will? Who do you think you are, Mr. Gogoi? So you want to shoot at will?
Medicine,
so you want to shoot at will? So you want to shoot at will? Gaurav, 1 second, Mr. Gogoi. Zarir, please.
Vegetable prices have
please don't, Mr. Gogoi, don't give me this rubbish about vegetable prices, please. Please, Mr. Gogoi, because this is the most bizarre argument I have heard in my entire professional career. This is the first time I am hearing someone say that because vegetable prices are going up. No, 1 second. Let's open up the phone lines. One of the most pitiable responses I have heard so far. One of the most pathetic arguments I have heard so far is that because vegetable prices are going up, we shoot at civilians. Sumit is an MNC professional from Delhi. He's our first caller. Sumit, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Arnab.
Go ahead.
The reply from Mr. Gogoi was really horrific. He says that people were protesting there for the past 5 days and that's why the CM gave the order to shoot the people. What the hell is this? I can go ahead and protest for 50 days. We went ahead and protested at Jantar Mantar during the Nirbhaya case for so many days. Does that mean that Shilal Dixit would have given the order to shoot the people there? He should have some sense when replying to questions from people. Absolutely horrific scenes being shown live on the television.
Absolutely.
I am a resident of Assam who is currently staying in Delhi. So my heart, just goes out to the people who...
And my question is, Sumit, thanks for that. My question is, A, who authorized this shootout? B, was the state government in the know of the events that were unfolding in Golaghat? C, did the state government authorize police forces to resort to any means to quell a non-existent threat? D, why didn't the police fire bullets in the air? Why didn't the police fire rubber bullets? Why didn't the police make a warning announcement? Why didn't the police use lathis instead of guns? Why did you have to fire bullets? And more than that, Zarir, why do you have to fire bullets point blank? Point blank. And then the chief minister's son comes on television and says, be grateful nobody died. I mean, this is the most Marie Antoinette kind of comment I have heard ever in my career. Yes, Zarir. The most insensitive comment I've heard so far.
Wasbir here, Arnab.
Yes, Wasbir. Sorry, Wasbir. Sorry, I always mistake you with Zarir. Yes.
Absolutely. And the horrific incident was that the police must ordered a high-level investigation. It reflects very poorly whether it has been directed to shoot directly at the people, unarmed protesters, or whether it is a lack of training. So either way, the police has to respond or has to reply to this question, because we have seen clear footage of the rifles, SLRs and AK-47s being aimed directly at the unarmed civilians who have been protesting. And basically the trigger factor, you have been repeatedly asking this question, who gave the order? But ultimately we have to understand who is in charge of the Home Ministry or the Home Department in Assam, and unfortunately it is the Chief Minister of the state who
absolutely it is
to the most.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have the managing editor of the news channel News Live, which has revealed these pictures for the first time. Gaurav, please listen. Gaurav, please listen. Wasbir Hussain is the managing editor of News Live, and
Assam government has already suspended an officer committed of excesses. We are, of course, we express our regret.
Gaurav, that's not convincing. After what you've said, you should just say one word now for the rest of the debate. You should just keep saying sorry every time you speak. Gaurav Gogoi, Gaurav Gogoi, listen tonight. Listen. Though these images do not show the citizens protesting, let me remind you that the citizens of any part of this country have every right to protest under Article 19(1)(b) of the Indian Constitution, and you have no business to be firing gunshots at them. Wasbir Hussain, where is the issue going right now? Wasbir Hussain, managing editor of the News Live channel. Yes, Wasbir, you wanted to come in.
See, Arnab, sorry won't make a dead man alive. And the argument put by our very young MP, Gaurav Gogoi, that not a single person has been injured in bullet wounds is outrageous. So my point is simple and clear, that these policemen were shooting directly at unarmed protesters, a bunch of about 20-25 people who must be armed with some pebbles or stones, not very big in size. And the fact is that they are using SLRs and AK-47s, and we have now visuals of cartridges and other things. And if you play the ambient sound, it is being very clear that somebody from behind is telling us, shoot at them, direct aim in Assamese. So these are Assamese cops, like an Assam policeman. And I must correct Kavita, who says that since CRPF is involved, it should be the Home Ministry. No, because this is within the state, and whatever the district administration is responsible, and they are using the paramilitary forces to assist the police. So the entire responsibility rests with the district administration, or for that matter the state government. So just to say that the shots were being fired,
absolutely,
it's lucky that no one was injured or nobody has been killed in this firing, because these people must have fled. But the fact is that it's very clear from the visuals that they have been directly aiming at protesters, unarmed protesters, which is just 15 kilometers from the district headquarters. Mind you, this is not happening in the border areas, which is controlled by the neutral forces, that is the CRPF. In this particular case, it is being the Assam police.
I think you're right.
with the district administration's instructions.
No. I think you're right. I think Kavita can correct herself there if she wants to.
Arnab, I'd like to come in here to explain what I mean.
It is the state's responsibility.
Make another point.
No,
absolutely. There is no denying the state's responsibility whatsoever. The state absolutely has the lion's share of the responsibility there. But a violation of norms by a central reserve force, that is certainly something which, centrally has to be taken note of. But I would also like to respond to what Mr. Sarma was saying. When he went on, he repeated it several times. He said this thing about being taught that once a firing happens, you have to express regret. This is some kind of formula clearly, which wherever police firings and army firings and paramilitary firings happen in our country, the respective governments seem to have this on pat, where they say, oh, we have to express regret. What is this? But the whole question to ask is, what is the situation which makes it so normal, especially in the Northeast, I will say, for paramilitary and police to simply open fire on unarmed people?
You want to correct that? No, okay, one sec. Let Himanta Biswa Sarma correct himself if he wants to. Himanta Biswa Sarma, I think you should correct yourself because you can't just express regret and get away with it. She's right.
No. I am saying that this is a time to express regret followed by an inquiry. I am not saying that somebody should get it off. I am saying that let us express regret, let us talk to the protesters, calm down the situation, order an inquiry, help people responsible and accountable.
No, sir, you are again...
Arnab, I'd like to finish my point, though.
How can you say that?
There is just no dialoguing. The Chief Minister of Assam has not spoken or not tried to speak to his Nagaland counterpart so far. There is no dialogue with the protesters. There is no dialogue with anybody. They're not even trying to ascertain the situation.
I think we should initiate the dialogue.
The Chief Minister has asked the Prime Minister for intervention. The Chief Minister has tried to figure out how to resolve the border dispute peacefully. We have provided.
So don't talk about the border dispute. We can deal with that. Why do you keep repeating the border dispute?
You have to.
This place is 25 kilometers from the border. Don't you know that?
Protesting about.
Don't you know this place is 25 kilometers from the border?
We have to find a permanent solution.
This is 25 kilometers from the border. What permanent solution? I want to speak, Mr. Gogoi. Mr. Gogoi, you know, this is.
If you want to have a permanent solution, why are you not talking to the Nagaland government? Then why are you not talking to the Nagaland government?
We are speaking tonight of the greatest violation of human rights.
Mr. Hussain,
and we actually have a member of parliament who says you should be grateful that nobody died. I have the pictures on the air once again, and for all our viewers, I want to tell you what you're seeing on the screen here. Horrifying pictures that have come in from Assam. Shoot at sight orders, and the Chief Minister's son says, be grateful nobody died. Raju Baliga is calling in from Mysore on this story. Mr. Baliga, good evening. Mr. Baliga, good evening. Make your point. Mr. Baliga, are you there? I think I lost the line with him. Siddharth is there from Chennai. I think Siddharth, good evening. You're there?
Yeah, good evening.
What would you like to say on these pictures, Siddharth? Good evening.
Yeah, first of all, being a democratic country, our India, I don't understand why the police have turned terrorists to the people of Assam. What they have done to the people, really, the police are acting like terrorists. Already there are so many terrorism issues on the part of Assam. And why did the police shoot at will to the people of Assam? What wrong they have done? And after looking at the footage, we can see clearly that the people of Assam were unarmed. So my question to all the dignitaries today, since our India is a democratic country, why did the police act as a terrorist to the people of Assam? Who are meant to safeguard the people of Assam?
Siddharth, as I said, the only thing when I look at these pictures, one thing I get more and more convinced as I look at these pictures. Zari is a senior colleague in the profession, but it convinces me, Wasbir, I always keep mistaking between you two illustrious brothers. Wasbir, what convinces me more and more is that if you're an unarmed citizen, if you're an innocent person, if you go out to protest, then this is how the state is going to deal with you. That there is no value to human life.
Well,
there's no value to human life.
Just add a sentence.
Yes.
the history of the Assam police in non-lethal crowd control has been absolutely dismal. The training is lacking in non-lethal crowd control. At the drop of a hat, the Assam police has been resorting to firing. There's been umpteen number of instances where the Assam police have been resorting to firing. I think the Ministry of Home Affairs needs to look into this. Why does the Assam police is compelled to resort to firing at the drop of a hat?
No, it's about a violation of human rights.
I'd also like to remind something here.
Number of violence. Please don't.
Can I come in?
The fact there's been a marked decrease in the violence since 2001 to 2014.
No, lies, lies and statistics, only politicians are happy with it. Yes, Kavita.
Arnab, I'd like to. Yeah, can I come in?
Yes.
I'd like to remind people, I'd like to remind the viewers, and especially in solidarity with all the people of the Northeast who are listening to this, that, this kind of firing on unarmed people, not just unarmed protesters, simply unarmed civilians, is something which I'm afraid is extremely quote-unquote normal behavior for the paramilitary forces and the police in the entire Northeast. Today, a court in Manipur has released Irom Sharmila and said that she should not be held for attempted suicide anymore. 14 years ago, when she began her fast in 2000, nearly 14 years ago, let us remember that that happened after the infamous Malam massacre, where the paramilitary Assam Rifles unleashed firing on 10 civilians at a bus stop, who were standing at a bus stop that included one who was a National Child Bravery Award winner. And after that, Sharmila began. And now she has been demanding the removal of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. I'm not saying that the AFSPA is involved only in the Assam incident now. But I think that is the framework in which the entire business of governance and the entire repressive machinery is deployed in the Northeast.
No, I see the larger point which you make.
And I think the central government and Mr. Modi also need to
I see the larger point you make.
What is their policy? Do they intend to lift the AFSPA? Do they intend to change the script or not?
Kavita, I see the larger point which you make. But may I just remind you here that these pictures, the people who are shooting there in the red caps of the Assam police, they are not doing so because they have the protection of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act.
They are CRPF also.
They are
CRPF also. And let me remind you, Arnab, that when this debate began, then the first thing Gaurav Gogoi said was to invoke the image of the terrorist. That is precisely what is done to justify the firing of the civilians, and that is made possible by the script.
Which is why Gaurav Gogoi should answer my last question. Mr. Gogoi, one second, answer the question, please. No, before you can't just make points, you have to answer questions. Prove to me, show me one shred of evidence that the people who were being shot at were terrorists of some sort, that they had to be shot at sight.
Arnab, what your visuals don't show, that the protesters have been protesting for the last 6 days.
No, one second. Were they terrorists that they had to be shot at sight?
What your visuals don't show.
Were they terrorists that they had to be shot at sight?
Civilians.
Were they terrorists who had to be shot at sight? Were they terrorists who had to be shot at sight? Answer the question. Were they terrorists?
Everyone has the right to protest.
Well, you're repeating yourself now, Gaurav. Think of what you're saying. And sometimes, Babu Pradeep is calling in from Kozhikode. The whole country is shocked at what's happening. Babu Pradeep, good evening. Babu Pradeep, good evening.
I can hear you.
Go ahead, Babu Pradeep, make your point. We have limited time.
My question is to the CM's son.
Yeah.
I am really shocked to see the footage which you're showing. And I remember the Mumbai terrorist attack. The same footage it is showing now. And when you put the question to him, he's very, very, very casual about your question, and his answer is nobody is killed, and he's very, very casual. I am shocked that we are living in such a ashamed country. I'm very, very shocked. He should answer that he can't be very, very casual.
Well, Mr. Pradeep, the reason we are putting these pictures out is only to point out how helpless the citizen has become. And the reason I emphasize this tonight, simple point. You don't need lectures in human rights. You just look at these pictures and ask yourself one thing. Governments change, elections happen. People win mandates and people lose. Politicians come and go. The one person whose position stays the same, unfortunately, in our country is the innocent citizen. When he wants to raise his voice unarmed in a democratic and peaceful way, selfish politicians unleash the forces on him like this. And then people like Mr. Gaurav Gogoi come on television and say, why are you making a big deal of it? Nobody died. Food for thought, shoot at will. I thank you very much for joining me on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight.